Hi, I'm Yunjie Chen. Today I'm going to talk about the third and fourth movement of Schumann Sonata No. 1, Opus 11. I must begin by telling you this is one of my favorite pieces in all piano literature. I play this in competitions many times, and the passion, the poetry, the unbelievable imagination this piece provides to us is just unbelievable. I will begin with the third movement. This third movement is succeeded by two wonderful movements. First movement being very dramatic, great contrast, lots of color. The second movement, however, is a very sad aria. I'm sure you all know that this is transcribed from a song that is talking about a soldier in a trench on the eve of a battle, knowing he will die the next day. Now, after that, the third movement is very energetic, very rhythmical, and has a great sense of power and triumph. Here, there are several things worth mentioning and noticing. One is the accents and the rhythm. All those accents are very important. It dominates the rhythm, the momentum of the piece. Therefore, this movement cannot be too fast. It has to be very steady, very straightforward, and very rhythmic. Now, this part, however, is very light, very pleasant. It's sort of like a beautiful memory of the past. Now here, what we must do is that this main melody has to be legato. At the same time, this third needs to be very clear, which creates a very big technical problem. How to solve it? In my experience, I practiced double third in order to maintain the quickness and the clarity of the third. I recommend this exercise. To exercise the third, fourth, and the fifth finger. Now, the left hand, however, is a waltz. So these three elements combined together is the ultimate effect that we like, but we probably have to practice separately. Now, the intermezzo here marks pampas. Here, the left hand is very important. We need to hear the bass and this descending melodic line. Then comes with this very interesting episode. Here, of course, we have to take enough time between the recitative and the chords. It has such a theatrical effect that we need to imagine that we play in a huge space and echo. And there's a sort of like a question and answer kind of effect here. Now, we will go to the fourth movement. This fourth movement is gigantic. I don't mean its length, and probably not much because of the technical difficulty, which is great, but it's the inside meaning, the symbolic meaning of power, of determination, of beauty, of nostalgia feeling, of reminiscence of the beautiful past, and the ultimate decision to go on, regardless of the pain, the struggle, the misery of life. It's such a beautiful poetry. Now, here we first encounter those very difficult and complex, the big chords. Here, the chords has to be very balanced because it's very heavy chords. Therefore, we have to hear the melody, of course, and the remainder of the chords has to be full, extensive. At the same time, not noisy. Now, the rhythm. This is like a reminder of the fate that although we have this great desire to obtain happiness, but there's always this great obstacle that lies between us and what we want to get. Now here is a beautiful rainfall. Imagine that was the sound of the rain touch down the pavement of the window. We're in a great tranquility and solitude. Now here is the inside voice of what we really think about the life ahead of us. Now, after that, there are several similar passages, and there's a very long melody here at the bar 74. Tell you, that was one of the most beautiful passages in all piano music. We desire happiness, but we may not ever get it. Yet, we still love our life because we have to go through it. The process itself is our ultimate success. All right, so now there comes this great climax. So many big chords, and they are all of great power. So technically, it's really difficult. So here, I mean, although in the music, the composer marks brilliant and velocity, we still have to be very steady. Otherwise, there will be a huge amount of mistakes. Now, after these passages, I must before ending the session, mention this great moment. This melody is an ultimate fantasy on everything. Everything that we know, everything we can think of, everything we ever want. It's our fantasy to all those things. It includes everything we can think of. All the mystery that you want to solve, all the success you want to obtain. Now here, in the deep, dark abyss, there's something moving there. It's of a great horror, but also you cannot avoid looking at it, because the more you're afraid of, the more you want to look at it. And now you see, there's this gigantic object, perhaps a dragon, of something that's unfathomable, that appear in front of you. And it's so tall that it reaches to the top of the mountain, to the clouds. And that is the theme, the main object of this movement. And that's why I was telling you the inside feeling of this movement is so huge, so wide, so complex, so extensive. All right, after that, lots of similar passages. Now we will go to the coda. The coda is very exciting, but I must tell you, it does not happen every time that you bring the audience to the ultimate fantasy, ecstasy, climax, whatever you want to put it. The reason is very simple. The ending is, if you will, awkward. You see, because it would be better if there's a big bass, but there isn't. And it feels empty. It's very empty. And whether or not you keep the hand on the keyboard or lift it up, it's not easy to achieve that kind of climax. So what do? My suggestion is that we will purposely, after those two chords, wait a little bit. We will use the conflict between the self-imposed sort of pause and the final drive. Use this conflict to compensate the lack of the bass and somewhat, that one would hope, a little more complex texture, something like lots of big chords or something like it, where there isn't. So this is my ultimate advice. Okay, this is a little bit of my thoughts on the third and fourth movement of Schumann Sonata Opus 11. Number 1, hope it's useful to you. Thank you very much.